The fife and flute are two different wind instruments that are often confused for each other, though they both produce sound using air. The fife is a small, cone-shaped instrument while the flute is larger and has a longer tube. Fifes are typically used in military bands, while flutes are more commonly found in orchestras and concert bands. Today we're going to talk about the differences between the fife and flute. Now let's start the video to better understand. Fife is a diatonically tuned instrument that is somewhat similar to a piccolo. Its innovative design consists of a narrow bore that produces a high-pitched sound compared to that of flutes used in orchestras. Due to their portability and loud sound, its squeaky sound could travel far and be audible to the people over the noise of the battle. A person playing fife is a fifer or fife player. The material used for fifes is wood, including boxwood, blackwood, rosewood, and maple. Fifes are also made out of plastic and metal. It is about 15 in long. A fife has a metal end enclosed with brass rings to prevent the wood from breaking or splitting while a fifer plays. It has an embouchure blowhole that is positioned in line with finger holes and produces sound when blown across. The body of a fife is usually made from a single piece of wood and has 6 finger holes. The modern version of fifes consists of 10 or 11 finger holes that enable a fifer to play any note and are chromatic. A flute is a family of melodic instruments that belong to the woodwind group. It is an aerophone that produces sound when the air streams across the opening. A person playing the flute is referred to as a flute player or a flutist. Back in time, flutes were made of animal bones. Modern flutes are made of wood and generally have metal keys to play with. Some of the flutes are made out of metal. Flutes intended for practice are made from alloys of nickel and are considered cheap. Most expensive flutes are plated with silver. Flutes are played by blowing air over the mouthpiece and pressing down the instrument's keys. The pitch changes as you open or close the keys. Varying the airflow into a flute will affect the pitch, volume, and type of sound created by the instrument. Flutes come in various sizes, including treble, alto, and bass. Alto and bass are bigger and produce a lower sound, while the flute's smaller version, piccolo, can play an octave higher and is considered one of the highest instruments in the orchestra. Many people think of the fife the same as the flute, but it isn't. The visible difference between them is the sound each instrument produces. A fife produces a high-pitched sound, louder and has a shrill sounding. Flutes are transverse musical instruments that have a conical bore and are held sideways. Modern-day flutes and orchestra flutes are made of metal, have keys with a separate head joint. On the other hand, fifes are small musical pieces that have a cylindrical and narrower bore. Fifes are held right and are blown in a cross direction to produce a higher pitch than a flute. Fifes usually do not come up with a separate bohem-style mouthpiece. They are used by military units and tend to be louder. When it comes to hunting for similarities between a fife and flute, amazingly, they are similar in a few ways. Simple system. Keyless flutes and fifes are relatively inexpensive instruments and are often used as a side note in tutorials intended for folks playing instruments with keys. These instruments are available in a wider range and models. Typically, both flutes and fifes are made of wood. Simple system flutes and fifes are mostly similar in design and can differ in other aspects, such as bore diameter. We are almost wrapping up. These are the common differences between these two. Hope you like this video. Please comment, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos.